We're joined now by John Apter, who's Chair of the National Police Federation. Very good morning to you. You represent rank and file officers, so I just wonder, what reaction have you had from, I don't know whether you have forums where people talk amongst themselves, everyone listened to that speech across the nation. What about police officers?
Yeah, good morning. There was a lot of concern, certainly when the Prime Minister talked about the military, because there was no clarity, no detail at all. And policing has been working with the military since the start of this pandemic, mainly around the logistics, and the military have been working with the health professionals on testing. So there was a lot of head scratching as to, well, what does this mean? And straight away, and understandably, some media and some members of the public assumed that this would be the military on the streets enforcing. And that's not what we need, certainly not what we want. And it's been clarified today, which was much needed. So that's a good thing. When it comes to the enforcement, look, policing has had to adapt massively over these past several months. You know, every day is different. We are damned if we do and damned if we don't, because some people want more enforcement, others want less. The Prime Minister says, and I understand, that we have to rely on the common sense of the public. Unfortunately, my colleagues deal with some people who don't use their common sense, or they will willfully and knowingly break the rules, which puts everybody at risk. So we try to find a balance, and policing throughout this whole pandemic has tried to find the right balance, which I believe the vast majority of the public support, which is trying to educate the public and guide them through what is a really complicated, ever-changing situation. But I do think that we will have to start being more robust around enforcement, certainly where people are willfully ignoring the rules and in effect just sticking two fingers up to the health crisis that we're in. But it's a really tough situation. And let me make it clear, we have no extra police officers. There are no magic boxes of police officers waiting to be opened to come and rescue everybody. We are struggling to cope with the demand that we have. And unfortunately, it's going to get worse.
What about those marshals we heard about?
Well, we heard a statement, but nothing more. There was no extra funding. I know that the local authorities who employ these local enforcement officers, if that's what they are, said that without any extra funding, then they wouldn't be used. So my hope at that time, when that announcement was made, again, with no clarity for policing, was that they would be out there educating and advising the public, because I've been calling for a genuine public information campaign where the public know exactly what is expected of them. Now, I know many people watching this will say, well, it's really simple, but for many people it's not. We know, and we heard earlier from your correspondents, that different parts of the United Kingdom have different rules. So as far as the marshals are concerned, I'm afraid that's gone very quiet.
Okay, John, can I just ask you, and some of the practicalities here, because this is what it will boil down to. The government and Boris Johnson saying that there will be more emphasis on enforcement. How does that work out in practice? So a police officer is in a place where someone should be wearing a mask. I say should, it's the law. So maybe in the past, up until now, they would have done what you said before, the advice. You advise and you hope people do the right thing. Will there be, as a result of what Boris Johnson has said very categorically, will there be some kind of a fundamental change in the approach in those scenarios?
Well, I've spoken with the head of the National Police Chiefs Council, who oversees all 43 forces, and they say that our position remains that we will follow the principles of educating the public and enforcing where we have to. The difficulty with enforcing, Charlie, is it's not as straightforward as it seems. So somebody's not wearing a mask and they say to a police officer, well, I'm exempt because I have a medical condition. They don't have to prove that. They don't have to demonstrate that. So it's really difficult. At the same time, we're getting called multiple times, many times, to houses where there's a suggestion that there's more than 6 people there. Well, whose bubble is whose? It's really not that simple. But where we can enforce, we absolutely should. But this is where the police need the support of the public, because I said earlier, we're damned either way. If we do ramp up the enforcement, if we do what we believe the majority of the public want, which is to target those people who are willfully ignoring the rules, then we need the public's understanding and support on that. And I have to say the media's, because what we tend to get then is, well, the police are too heavy-handed. We can't win either way, but we have to try and find the right balance. And this is a health crisis. It's not a police crisis. It's a health crisis. We're all trying to play our part. But my colleagues are stuck in the middle trying to interpret laws which are ever changing, and it's really tough.
John Apter, thank you very much. John Apter is chair of the National Police Federation.